a weapon of war that most countries believe should no longer be used and cannot be justified morally. Anti-personnel landmines maim and kill thousands of innocent people each year, often in places where fighting ended decades ago. And while most of the world has banned them, the U.S. says it's planning to use them again after more than 30 years.
Landmines are one of very many other important tools that our commanders need to have available to them on the battlefield to shape the battlefield and to protect our forces.
With the change in policy, U.S. forces will be able to use anti-personnel mines in future conflicts in certain circumstances. Mines the Pentagon says will be able to self-destruct or self-deactivate without threatening civilians.
The Philippines has reported the first death from the new coronavirus outside of China. Officials in Manila say the 44-year-old man came from the province of Wuhan, the Chinese province hardest hit by the outbreak. The death toll in China has now topped 300. More than 14,000 people have been infected worldwide, almost all of them on the Chinese mainland. As the number of cases there continues to grow, factories have gone into overdrive to meet the demand for medical supplies.
Philippines health authorities said the coronavirus patient had shown signs of recovery but deteriorated quickly. Despite the fatality, officials are urging calm. Many countries are now refusing entry to travelers who have recently visited China, against World Health Organization advice. New Zealand is the latest.
Military freight planes from People's Liberation Army have arrived here at Wuhan Tianhe International Airport. They are carrying some medical team and medical supplies to support the city. Soon they got transferred to the newly built Washington Hospital, which is ready to hand over to the army.
当我们接到命令的时候呢，第一时间都没有任何的考虑。国家在这个有危难的时候，在有疫情爆发的时候，作为军人，我们一定要冲在前面。
A front line which many of the team have seen before, having experiences during the 2003 SARS epidemic and the more recent Ebola outbreaks in Africa. Before their departure, the teams went through sophisticated training process. They say they're now ready for the challenge, despite knowing very little about what lies ahead.
U.S. President Donald Trump's Mideast peace plan is meeting stiff resistance. In Cairo, the Arab League rejected the proposal, saying it does not respect the rights and expectations of the Palestinian people. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has cut all ties with Israel and the United States, including security cooperation. Many Palestinians have already been protesting across the occupied territories. The plan foresees a small, demilitarized Palestinian state. In exchange, Israel would be allowed to hold on to many of its settlements and annex some of the land it currently occupies.
Protesters describe it as an enemy invasion of every Jordanian home. By accepting natural gas from Israel to generate electricity, they say each time they turn on their lights, they'll be giving the Israeli government money. Last month, an Israeli-American consortium began pumping natural gas from a pipeline in the Mediterranean Sea to Jordan. Since the public first learned about the deal in 2014, protesters ranging from Palestinian refugees to members of parliament have united in opposition. Jordan relies on imports to meet its energy needs. It also survives on foreign aid. It's waiting for the IMF to inject a loan into its economy.
Fisherman Franck Le Dussel is already feeling the effects of Brexit. Since Friday, he's been banned from fishing around Guernsey, one of the British Channel Islands a few miles off the coast of Normandy, which is where a third of his catch comes from. The European treaty that allowed him to fish there expired with Brexit. It was supposed to be business as usual for a year-long transition period. French authorities have condemned Guernsey for jumping the gun. Guernsey says it will be implementing a case-by-case permit scheme, which French authorities say is a de facto ban on their boats. Until now, EU vessels have had the right to fish as close as 6 nautical miles to Britain's coast. But in the absence of an agreement, the zone will reach as far as 200 miles offshore, excluding French and other European fishermen.
A boat run by the Spanish charity Open Arms says it only has food for another 2 days as it remains stranded in the Mediterranean. It's been denied permission by both Italy and Malta to allow 363 migrants and refugees to disembark. Italy's vehemently anti-immigrant former Interior Minister Matteo Salvini tweeted, "Do I risk another trial for defending Italian borders? I did it, I would do it again, and I will do it again. If I have to protect my country, I'm not afraid of anything or anyone." Later, the head of the Open Arms mission tweeted that a safe port had been found. The migrants and refugees are now expected to disembark at the Italian port of Pozzallo on Sunday.
The deadly inferno on the highway, a tractor-trailer crash north of Atlanta. That deadly accident forcing drivers to evacuate their vehicles, shutting down businesses nearby, and bringing traffic to a standstill in both directions. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has more.
Tonight, the deadly fireball erupting on Interstate 85 outside Atlanta. Drivers stopped in their tracks.
As you can see, a massive car fire has all lanes shut down.
A tanker truck and another vehicle fully engulfed in flames.
They got a fire truck out here already. Looks like it's on the other side. Whatever it is, it's blocking like everything.
The tanker was filled with flammable liquid that then got into the sewer from the interstate.
Thousands of gallons spilling, the fire spreading underground to multiple locations.
After 2 months of Iraqi politicians disagreeing over who should replace Adil Abdul Mahdi as Iraqi Prime Minister, the President Barham Salih has been forced to choose a candidate for them, and his choice is Mohammed Tawfiq Allawi. He's a Shia, he's a former 2 times communication minister under Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki, and he's also the cousin of another former Prime Minister, Ayad Allawi. He's accepted the invitation to form a government and will run the country until early elections can be held. But the big question is, will he be able to pacify the protest movement which has rocked Iraq for most of the last 4 months? In a video posted on Twitter, he encouraged the movement. He said that protesters should continue to demonstrate until their demands were met.
As tensions between Greece, Cyprus and Turkey heat up, France's President Macron has decided to do the right thing and to swoop in to save the day. He's dispatched war frigates to the eastern Mediterranean as the age-old regional rivals clash once more.
France supports Greece and Cyprus when it comes to the sovereignty of their maritime zones, and along with our European partners, condemns Turkey's intrusions and provocations.
What might appear as some 19th century style of a conflict at sea is really largely about energy reserves. As you can see, the divided island of Cyprus has offshore gas fields worth billions of euros. No surprise then that the self-proclaimed Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus issues its own licenses to explore those gas-rich areas to Turkish companies.